Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment to talk about something that's deeper than just our ambitions, beyond our achievements, and far greater than any social approval. It's about something that sits within us, often neglected, yet it carries the essence of who we truly are, our soul. You see, society has trained us to perform, to impress, to be what it wants us to be. From a young age, we're molded to fit in, to seek validation, to live in a way that wins the approval of others. But let me tell you something, powerful satisfaction doesn't come from living to meet the standards of society. Satisfaction comes from within. It comes from fulfilling the purpose you were created to live. Now you may ask, what's wrong with seeking approval from the world around us? Well, the issue is that when we chase validation, we're driven by external forces. Our joy, our peace, and our purpose are then dictated by what others think, by trends, by expectations that have no roots in our true essence. But your soul, your innermost being, wasn't designed to be defined by society. It was designed for something deeper, something unique. Let me tell you this, a soul aligned with its purpose is unstoppable. But the soul that chases what society deems important will forever feel empty. Why? Because society's desires are fleeting, constantly changing, and frankly shallow. It tells us to seek success, but it rarely defines what true success is. It tells us to acquire, yet it never talks about fulfillment. Society might know the how, but it seldom understands the why of our existence. The purpose of your life isn't to impress the world. The purpose of your life is to fulfill the calling within. And when you satisfy your soul, when you nurture it, when you align with what you know to be true within yourself, that's when you'll experience real peace, real joy, and real freedom. Living for your soul, not society, is what gives you the power to break free from every expectation that doesn't serve your growth. So how do you satisfy your soul? First, connect with your purpose. This is the foundation. Ask yourself, what was I created to do? What gift, what passion has been placed within me, and let that drive your actions, not the opinions around you. Next, feed your soul with growth. Seek knowledge, expand your mind, and build your character. Society may want you to acquire material things, but your soul wants wisdom, understanding, integrity. Build yourself up internally, because that is what creates a life of substance. And finally, choose courage over comfort. Society might pressure you to stay in the comfort of what's familiar, of what's easy, but your soul longs for expansion. It longs to step beyond the safe, to be bold, to grow beyond limitations. Don't let the voices around you drown out the voice within. The world's opinions will change, but your purpose remains constant. In the end, it's not society that you'll need to answer to, it's your own soul. When you satisfy that, you walk in true freedom. You walk in authenticity, you walk in peace. So live each day with purpose. Let your soul be the compass, not the fleeting demands of the world around you, because only then will you experience the satisfaction that no social approval can ever bring. Only then will you truly be alive. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the race for approval. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek validation from the world around us. We strive to meet the expectations of our parents, teachers, employers, and society at large. This constant pursuit of external approval becomes so ingrained in our lives that we often forget the most important thing, inner fulfillment. It is easy to mistake external success, such as material wealth, career advancement, or social recognition, as the ultimate measure of happiness and accomplishment. However, the truth is that true fulfillment doesn't come from what others think of you or from chasing after external markers of success. It comes from a deep personal sense of contentment that only arises when we connect with our inner selves, understand our purpose, and live according to our true values. Our society thrives on comparisons. We are constantly surrounded by people who seem to have it all together, and in a world where everyone is showcasing their successes on social media and in public spaces, the pressure to conform and measure up intensifies. We find ourselves measuring our lives against the lives of others, chasing after the latest trends, and seeking validation from the people around us. But what happens when we finally attain what we think we wanted, the promotion, the car, the house, or the social media following? While these things may bring temporary satisfaction, they often leave us feeling hollow because they were never meant to be the source of our fulfillment. True inner fulfillment comes from a deep understanding of who we are, what we value, and what our true purpose in life is. It comes from an alignment with our soul and the recognition that we are more than the roles we play in society. While society may measure success based on external achievements, your soul measures it based on how true you are to yourself and whether you are living in accordance with your deepest values and aspirations. To seek inner fulfillment is to understand that happiness is not something external that you acquire, but something internal that you cultivate. It's not about accumulating possessions or accolades, but about finding peace in knowing that you are living a life that reflects who you truly are. This shift in perspective is liberating because it removes the pressure of constantly seeking validation from others and places the power to define success back into your hands. When we look externally for fulfillment, we often fall into the trap of trying to please others. This is particularly true in relationships, careers, and even in social settings. We often adjust our behavior, values, and decisions based on what we think others expect from us. We may find ourselves pursuing careers or relationships that don't truly resonate with our inner desires simply because society tells us these are the things we should want. This disconnect between who we are and who we try to be for the approval of others creates a sense of inner turmoil. The more we seek external validation, the more we lose touch with our authentic selves. In contrast, when we seek fulfillment from within, we begin to operate from a place of self-awareness and self-acceptance. We stop looking to others for approval because we have already found it within ourselves. We stop measuring our worth based on the opinions of others, and instead we learn to measure it based on how well we are living in alignment with our values and purpose. When we are fulfilled from within, we no longer need to seek the approval of others because we have already recognized our own worth. This inner fulfillment comes from knowing that we are living with integrity, that we are acting in accordance with our true values, and that we are making choices that support our deepest aspirations. It's about listening to our inner voice, understanding what truly matters to us, and following that guidance even when it goes against the grain of societal expectations. When we align our actions with our inner truth, we experience a sense of peace that cannot be disrupted by the opinions or judgments of others. It's also important to recognize that inner fulfillment is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process. It requires continuous self-reflection and a willingness to evolve. The journey towards inner fulfillment is deeply personal, and it involves understanding that we are always growing and changing. There may be times when we feel disconnected from our purpose, when we question our direction, or when we feel lost in the noise of external pressures. During these times, it is essential to reconnect with ourselves, to take a step back from the demands of the world, and to reflect on what truly matters. One of the key elements of seeking inner fulfillment is the ability to say no to external pressures that do not align with your truth. This means setting boundaries with people, situations, and environments that demand too much of your energy or pull you away from your purpose. Saying no is a powerful act of self-respect because it affirms your commitment to yourself and your values. It means that you are not willing to sacrifice your peace or your integrity for the sake of pleasing others or meeting societal expectations. It's also important to recognize that seeking inner fulfillment doesn't mean completely rejecting external achievements or accomplishments. It's not about choosing one over the other. Rather, it's about finding a balance. External success can still play a role in your life, but it should never be the sole determinant of your happiness. True fulfillment comes when you are not dependent on these external achievements for your sense of worth. You can achieve great things, but those achievements should be an expression of who you are and what you value, not a means to impress others or gain approval. Living for internal fulfillment also means embracing your uniqueness. Society often encourages conformity, pushing us to fit into predetermined boxes or follow a prescribed path. However, our true fulfillment lies in embracing the things that make us different. It lies in recognizing that we were not made to blend in, but to stand out and live a life that reflects our individuality. When we seek fulfillment from within, we stop comparing ourselves to others and begin to celebrate the unique journey that is our own. When we choose to seek inner fulfillment, we are also choosing to embrace our own power. We are acknowledging that we have the ability to shape our lives, to create meaning, and to define success on our own terms. This internal sense of empowerment is what gives us the strength to face challenges, take risks, and step into our full potential. We no longer need to rely on external factors to validate our existence because we have already validated ourselves from within. The truth is that when we seek fulfillment from within, we become unstoppable. We become resilient in the face of adversity, focused on our goals, and unshaken by the opinions of others. We no longer measure our worth based on fleeting moments of success or approval, but instead we find satisfaction in knowing that we are living authentically, aligned with our purpose and true to ourselves. So the next time you find yourself caught up in the pressure of societal expectations or seeking approval from others, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I living for others or am I living for myself? The answer will guide you back to the only path that leads to true fulfillment, the path of seeking inner contentment, where your soul is the compass and your purpose is the destination. Purpose is not just a concept, it's the driving force that fuels our passion, our motivation, and ultimately our happiness. It's what gives meaning to our lives, shaping how we respond to challenges and how we experience the world. When we understand and align ourselves with our purpose, we begin to experience a sense of joy and peace that transcends anything external. Joy is not just a fleeting emotion, it is a state of being, deeply rooted in the fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with our deeper calling. Peace, similarly, is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of inner harmony that arises when we are true to ourselves. In a world that constantly demands more of us, more achievements, more success, more material wealth, it's easy to forget the importance of purpose. Society often convinces us that happiness and fulfillment come from external achievements, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the accumulation of wealth, or the constant pursuit of approval from others. We chase these things thinking they will bring us peace and joy, but in the process we lose sight of what truly matters. The truth is, external factors can only bring temporary satisfaction. They cannot bring lasting fulfillment because they are not the source of our true purpose. Purpose, on the other hand, is internal. It's something that comes from within, rooted in who we are and what we are meant to contribute to the world. It is the reason we wake up every morning with excitement and enthusiasm. When we are aligned with our purpose, we are driven by something greater than ourselves. We no longer work just to meet the expectations of others or to chase the approval of society. We work because we are passionate about what we do, because it resonates with our deepest values and because it brings meaning to our lives. This alignment with purpose creates a profound sense of joy. Joy is not the same as happiness, which often comes and goes based on circumstances. Joy is a deeper, more enduring feeling. It arises when we are living authentically and in alignment with who we truly are. When we live with purpose, we begin to experience a deep satisfaction that is not dependent on what happens around us. The challenges we face no longer seem as overwhelming because we know that they are part of our journey toward fulfilling our purpose. Our passion carries us through adversity, and even when things are tough, we find joy in the process of growth and self-discovery. One of the most powerful aspects of purpose is its ability to bring peace. Peace is not the absence of external chaos, it is the inner calm that comes from being rooted in our purpose, knowing that we are walking the path we are meant to walk. When we are aligned with our purpose, we are no longer driven by fear, anxiety, or the need for approval. We do not measure our success by how others see us, but by how true we are to ourselves. This sense of inner peace comes from the confidence that we are doing what we were created to do. It comes from the knowledge that we are fulfilling our potential and living in accordance with our values. Peace also arises from the acceptance that we are not in control of everything. When we are living with purpose, we are able to let go of the need to control every outcome. We understand that some things are beyond our control, and we learn to trust the process. This surrender to the flow of life allows us to release anxiety and fear. We become less attached to specific outcomes and more focused on the journey. The peace that comes from this trust is profound. It is a peace that transcends circumstances and remains with us even in the face of uncertainty. Living with purpose also helps us to focus on what truly matters. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get sidetracked by things that are not aligned with our purpose. We may find ourselves caught up in the pursuit of things that society tells us are important: wealth, status, popularity. These things can often feel like they will bring us happiness, but they are fleeting. Purpose brings clarity. When we know our purpose, we know what we need to prioritize, and we learn to say no to the things that do not align with our values. This clarity gives us the freedom to focus on what truly matters, and it frees us from the constant pressure to keep up with everyone else. In this sense, purpose becomes a filter through which we make decisions. Every choice we make is informed by whether or not it aligns with our deeper calling. The more we align ourselves with our purpose, the more joy and peace we experience, because we are no longer living in conflict with ourselves. We are not trying to be someone we are not, or pursuing things that are not in line with our true values. We are living authentically, and that authenticity brings a sense of peace that cannot be found in any external achievement. Moreover, when we live with purpose, we are also more likely to serve others. A life that is truly aligned with its purpose is not solely about self-fulfillment. It is about making a positive impact on the world around us. Purpose often involves contributing to something greater than ourselves, whether it is through our work, relationships, or the way we engage with our communities. When we live with a sense of purpose, we understand that our actions have the potential to affect others and perfect others in profound ways. This sense of contribution brings its own sense of joy and peace. There is no greater fulfillment than knowing that we are making a difference in the lives of others, and that our purpose is serving a larger, meaningful cause. The pursuit of purpose also challenges us to grow. When we are living with purpose, we are always striving to become the best version of ourselves. We recognize that there is always room for growth and improvement, and we embrace the opportunities to learn and expand. This growth is not just about achieving external goals. It is about deepening our understanding of ourselves and becoming more in tune with our inner truth. It is about evolving into the person we were always meant to be. This continual growth brings a sense of joy that is not found in the achievement of a particular goal, but in the process of becoming. Purpose also teaches us resilience. Life is not without its challenges. We will face obstacles, setbacks, and hardships along the way. But when we are living with purpose, we are better equipped to handle these challenges. We find strength in knowing that our struggles are not in vain. They are part of the process of fulfilling our purpose. The joy that comes from living with purpose gives us the strength to persevere. And the peace that comes from living authentically gives us the courage to continue, even in the face of adversity. Purpose also allows us to embrace our uniqueness. Every person has a unique gift to offer the world, and when we align ourselves with our purpose, we are able to express that gift fully. Living with purpose allows us to stop comparing ourselves to others and to embrace our own individuality. We no longer feel the need to conform to the standards of society or to fit into a prescribed mold. We recognize that our purpose is unique to us, and that is what makes our contribution to the world valuable. This recognition brings a sense of peace because we know that we are walking our own path, not the path that others have set for us. Finally, the peace and joy that come from living with purpose are not contingent on external circumstances. They are grounded in the deep knowing that we are living authentically and in alignment with our true selves. When we live with purpose, we experience a sense of fulfillment that cannot be taken away by the ups and downs of life. We are no longer dependent on external validation to feel worthy or fulfilled. We have already found our worth within ourselves, and that worth is tied to our purpose, not to the approval of others. In the end, purpose is the key to lasting joy and peace. It is the foundation upon which a fulfilling and meaningful life is built. When we are aligned with our purpose, we experience a deep sense of contentment that cannot be disrupted by external circumstances. We find joy in the journey, peace in the process, and fulfillment in knowing that we are living the life we were meant to live. In a world that is constantly changing, driven by the rapid flow of information and the ever-evolving trends in culture, there is a deep-rooted desire within each of us to be accepted, to be seen, and to be validated by others. This need for approval is a fundamental part of human nature, shaped by our interactions with those around us and by the society in which we live. It's no surprise then that so many of us find ourselves striving to meet the expectations set by those around us, whether it's our family, our friends, or the wider community. We want to be admired, respected, and liked because for a brief moment we feel that this approval somehow affirms our worth, our value, and our existence. But what happens when we achieve society's approval? In most cases, the satisfaction we experience is temporary at best. The momentary joy or sense of fulfillment that comes with approval quickly fades as we realize that the applause is fleeting and the recognition doesn't last forever. The truth is, society's approval is unreliable. It is conditional, driven by external factors that change with time, circumstance, and the perspectives of others. What was once celebrated may quickly be forgotten or worse, replaced with disdain or criticism. Society's approval is built on the shifting sands of perception, and like any fleeting thing, it cannot provide the stability, security, or lasting fulfillment that we seek. This constant need for external validation creates a cycle of dependency, where our self-worth becomes tethered to the opinions of others. Every time we gain approval, we feel validated for a moment, only to find that this validation does not last. We then go back to seeking more approval, more recognition, more admiration. This cycle can be exhausting, leaving us constantly chasing after something that is, by its very nature, unreliable. The fleeting nature of societal approval can be seen in many aspects of life. Take, for instance, the world of social media. In today's digital age, approval is often measured by the number of likes, comments, or shares that a post receives. We post a picture, share a thought, or broadcast a piece of our lives, and we anxiously await the reactions of others. For a moment, we feel a rush of affirmation as the notifications pour in, but soon after, the attention fades. The next post, the next trend, or the next viral moment takes over, and our previous moment of validation is forgotten. In the rush to maintain relevance, we often find ourselves caught in a never-ending cycle of seeking external validation. This need for approval becomes particularly apparent in the workplace. Many people spend years striving to meet the expectations of their bosses, colleagues, or peers, believing that success will bring them the respect and recognition they desire. But even when they achieve the accolades they seek, there is no guarantee that the approval will last. Promotions, awards, or public recognition can be fleeting as the demands of work continually shift and evolve. What was once praised as an accomplishment can quickly be overshadowed by new challenges, new goals, or new expectations. The approval of others, in this case, is conditional on performance, and no matter how hard we work or how much we achieve, the approval can easily be taken away if we falter or if someone else comes along with new achievements. In relationships, society's approval is also often sought after. From the pressure to conform to societal standards of beauty, success, and happiness, to the unspoken expectations of how relationships should look or how we should act in them, the desire for approval from others is ever present. Many people enter relationships not because they are true to themselves or because they have found a genuine connection, but because they seek approval from others. They may stay in toxic relationships, hold on to unhealthy habits, or compromise their values in an attempt to fit into societal molds or meet the expectations of others. The pursuit of external approval leads to a disconnect from the truth of who we are, and we end up sacrificing our authenticity in exchange for acceptance. However, the deeper we dig into the truth of this pursuit, the clearer it becomes that societal approval is unreliable. It doesn't define who we are or what we are capable of achieving. Approval from others is subject to change, influenced by the fickle nature of human opinions and external circumstances. It cannot be a solid foundation for our sense of self-worth, because it is based on the perceptions of others, not on the truth of who we are. The need for approval from society also creates a false sense of worth. When we live our lives for the sake of pleasing others, we are not living authentically. We are not honoring our true desires, passions, and values. Instead, we are bending ourselves to fit into a mold that is not our own. This may give us temporary validation, but it denies us the opportunity to experience the deeper fulfillment that comes from being true to ourselves. The applause of society may feel good for a moment, but it is not enough to nourish the soul. When the approval fades, we are left feeling empty, disconnected, and unsure of who we truly are. This reliance on external validation can also have a negative impact on our mental and emotional well-being. Constantly seeking approval means that we are always looking outside ourselves for reassurance. We can become anxious, stressed, or even depressed when we don't receive the validation we seek. Our self-esteem becomes fragile because it is built on the approval of others, not on a deep understanding and acceptance of who we are. This dependency on external sources of affirmation keeps us trapped in a cycle of seeking more and more, never quite feeling content with ourselves. The approval we get from others may be fleeting, but our dependence on it can be all-consuming. When we break free from the need for society's approval, we are liberated to live authentically. We begin to realize that our worth is not determined by how others see us, but by who we are at our core. True fulfillment comes from within, not from the validation of others. We begin to understand that we are enough as we are, and that we don't need to conform to anyone else's expectations or seek approval from the outside world. The validation we seek is no longer tied to external sources. Instead, we cultivate a deep sense of self-worth, one that is not dependent on what others think of us, but on our own beliefs about who we are and what we are capable of achieving. When we embrace this truth, we begin to experience freedom. Freedom from the pressure to conform. Freedom from the need for validation. Freedom to live our lives in a way that is true to ourselves, not in a way that is dictated by societal expectations. The freedom to pursue what brings us joy, to follow our passions, and to live a life that is meaningful to us without the need for approval or recognition. The fleeting nature of society's approval becomes a lesson in the importance of living authentically. It teaches us that seeking approval from others is a hollow pursuit, one that cannot bring lasting satisfaction or fulfillment. It is only when we turn inward, when we learn to trust ourselves and embrace our unique path, that we can find true joy, peace, and contentment. Society's approval may be fleeting, but our sense of self-worth, rooted in our authenticity, can last a lifetime. Growth is an intrinsic part of life, a journey that each individual must embark upon in their own unique way. It is not simply about achieving success, gaining accolades, or surpassing others. Rather, growth is about becoming the best version of oneself, stepping into one's potential, and finding deeper meaning and fulfillment in life. When we talk about feeding the soul with growth, we are talking about nourishing the very essence of who we are, our spirit, our heart, and our mind. Growth isn't just about external accomplishments or achievements. It is about inner transformation. It is about evolving in a way that elevates us, challenges us, and aligns us with our truest purpose in life. Often when people think about growth, they think of it as an outward pursuit, something that can be measured by tangible success. However, true growth is deeply personal, and it is rooted in an inward journey. The process of feeding your soul with growth begins with an honest reflection of who you are and where you are. It is about recognizing your potential and understanding that the path to fulfillment is not linear or predictable. Growth is often uncomfortable, sometimes painful, and it requires us to push beyond the familiar, beyond the limitations that we have placed on ourselves or that others have placed on us. It is about challenging our beliefs, breaking free from old patterns, and continuously striving to evolve into someone who is not only capable of achieving more, but is capable of living a life that is true to their soul's purpose. When you begin the process of feeding your soul with growth, you are not simply aiming to become a better version of yourself in a material sense, but rather to become someone who is more connected to your inner truth, more aligned with your deepest desires, and more attuned to the world around you. Growth means transforming into someone who is more aware, more intentional, and more conscious of the way you live and the impact you have on others. It means transcending your limitations and stepping into a higher version of yourself, one that is not defined by the past, but is open to the endless possibilities of the future. One of the first steps in feeding your soul with growth is recognizing that personal growth is a continuous process. It is not a destination, but a journey. There is no final point where you can say, I am done growing. The very nature of life is change, and growth is a reflection of this ever-present reality. As we progress through life, we encounter new experiences, new challenges, and new opportunities to learn and evolve. Growth is not static. It is dynamic and requires us to adapt, adjust, and embrace the unknown. The willingness to grow comes from an openness to change and an acceptance that we do not have all the answers. It means being humble enough to recognize that no matter how far we've come, there is always room to improve, to learn, and to expand. In feeding your soul with growth, you also have to recognize the importance of self-awareness. Growth is impossible without self-awareness. You must have a deep understanding of who you are, what drives you, and what holds you back. Self-awareness allows you to assess your strengths and weaknesses, to understand your patterns of thinking and behavior, and to identify the areas in your life that need healing or transformation. It is through self-awareness that we can become more conscious of the choices we make and the impact those choices have on our lives and on the world around us. The more we understand ourselves, the better equipped we are to make decisions that align with our true purpose and values. Self-awareness also opens the door to emotional growth. As we become more aware of our emotions, we are better able to manage them. Growth involves learning how to regulate your emotions, not suppress them, but understand them, process them, and use them to fuel your progress. Emotions are powerful, and they have the potential to either hold us back or propel us forward. When we feed our soul with growth, we learn to embrace our emotions without letting them control us. We develop emotional intelligence, which allows us to navigate the complexities of life with grace, empathy, and resilience. Emotional growth also means recognizing that feelings of pain, fear, and discomfort are not obstacles to growth, but opportunities to learn and expand our capacity for emotional resilience. Feeding your soul with growth also requires a commitment to continual learning. Growth is not just about acquiring knowledge or skills, it is about embracing the mindset of a lifelong learner. When you commit to learning, you open yourself up to endless opportunities for expansion. Knowledge is power, but it is not just about intellectual growth, it is about emotional, spiritual, and psychological growth as well. True growth comes from the integration of new ideas, experiences, and perspectives into your life. It is about challenging your assumptions, confronting your biases, and seeking truth in all areas of your life. A commitment to learning keeps your mind sharp, your spirit engaged, and your heart open to new possibilities. One of the key components of growth is also the willingness to take risks. Growth rarely happens when we stay in our comfort zones. It occurs when we step outside of familiar territory and take risks, when we face the fear of the unknown and move forward anyway. Taking risks allows us to stretch ourselves, to grow beyond our limitations, and to discover what we are truly capable of. It is in those moments of discomfort, uncertainty, and vulnerability that we often experience the most profound growth. Taking risks means challenging the status quo, pushing against the boundaries we have set for ourselves, and stepping into the unknown with faith and courage. Feeding your soul with growth also involves a deep sense of purpose. Purpose is the driving force behind all meaningful growth. When you have a clear sense of purpose, you are able to direct your energy and focus towards something that matters. Purpose provides you with the clarity and motivation to persevere through obstacles, to continue growing even when things are difficult, and to stay aligned with your true calling in life. It is the compass that guides you on your journey of growth, helping you to stay true to yourself and to the path you are meant to walk. Without purpose, growth can feel aimless, disconnected, and unsatisfying. With purpose, every step becomes meaningful, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every success is a reflection of your deepest values. Growth is also about resilience. Life will undoubtedly present challenges, setbacks, and moments of failure. However, it is through these difficulties that growth is often born. The ability to rise again after facing adversity is one of the most powerful forms of growth. It is in these moments that we build our inner strength, our resilience, and our capacity to continue moving forward. When we feed our soul with growth, we understand that setbacks are not the end of the road, but simply part of the journey. Each failure is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to grow stronger. The key to growth is not avoiding failure, but embracing it as a vital part of the process. Feeding your soul with growth also means letting go of the past. Growth cannot happen if we are constantly anchored to old wounds, regrets, or mistakes. We must learn to release what no longer serves us, old stories, limiting beliefs, and self-imposed limitations that keep us stuck in the past. Letting go of the past creates space for new possibilities, new experiences, and new opportunities for growth. It is in this space of release and renewal that we can truly expand, transform, and feed our souls with the nourishment they need to thrive. Ultimately, feeding your soul with growth is about living with intention. It is about actively choosing to grow, to evolve, and to become the best version of yourself. It is about setting goals that align with your deepest values and pursuing them with passion, perseverance, and a commitment to lifelong learning. Growth is not something that happens to us. It is something that we create by making conscious choices every day. The more we feed our soul with growth, the more we become the person we are meant to be, a person who is fulfilled, empowered, and deeply connected to the essence of life itself. Courage is the force that pushes us to go beyond what we know, beyond the confines of our comfort zones. It is that inner strength that arises when we face the unknown, the uncertain, and the seemingly impossible. It is not a rare trait reserved for only a few exceptional individuals, but rather a quality that resides in all of us. The choice to act courageously is often the difference between a life of stagnation and one of growth, transformation, and fulfillment. Comfort, on the other hand, is seductive. It lulls us into a state of contentment, even complacency, where we may feel safe but also stuck. True fulfillment, however, lies on the other side of comfort, in the realm where courage leads the way. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages of security and certainty, the notion of stepping out of comfort and embracing courage can feel daunting. It is natural for humans to seek comfort because it provides a sense of safety, control, and predictability. Comfort zones are by their very nature familiar, and we are wired to gravitate toward what is familiar. But the truth is, comfort zones often become prisons that keep us from reaching our true potential. While comfort may provide temporary peace, it does not foster growth. It does not push us to evolve or to confront the challenges that ultimately lead to personal and professional development. Without courage, we remain confined to a life of mediocrity, never realizing the full extent of what we could achieve. The journey of life requires us to embrace discomfort in order to experience the breakthroughs that make it worthwhile. Courage is the key that unlocks the door to a life of purpose, achievement, and personal satisfaction. It is only through courage that we can truly grow, develop new skills, and face the challenges that inevitably come our way. The greatest achievements in history, whether personal or collective, were not the result of people who sought comfort and security, but rather those who dared to step out into the unknown. The very essence of courage is the willingness to face fear and uncertainty with an unwavering belief that the rewards on the other side will be worth the risks. Comfort, while necessary for rest and rejuvenation, can become a trap when overindulged. It is easy to fall into a pattern where we seek out the familiar, the predictable, and the safe. Whether it's staying in a job that no longer challenges us, maintaining relationships that drain us, or avoiding new opportunities because of fear of failure, comfort keeps us from evolving. It keeps us in a place where we settle for less than what we are truly capable of. But growth, success, and fulfillment rarely come from the safe, comfortable path. They come from pushing through fear, discomfort, and the obstacles that arise along the way. When we allow courage to drive our decisions instead of comfort, we open ourselves up to new experiences and opportunities that we would never have encountered had we remained in the safety of the familiar. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Fear is an inherent part of the human experience, and it often accompanies any major decision or life change. Whether we are facing the challenge of a new job, a new relationship, or the pursuit of a long-held dream, fear can be overwhelming. However, courage is what allows us to act even in the face of that fear. It is the recognition that fear is not a signal to retreat, but a sign that we are moving in the right direction. Courage is the muscle that strengthens when we push through the discomfort of fear. With every act of bravery, no matter how small, we build more courage within ourselves, and we become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of facing whatever challenges life throws our way. Living a courageous life does not mean that we are free from fear or anxiety. It does not mean that we will always feel confident or certain about our choices. It means that we do not allow those feelings to control us. We do not allow fear to dictate our actions or hold us back from pursuing what we truly desire. Courage involves the willingness to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to trust that we will figure things out as we go along. It involves having faith in ourselves even when we are unsure of the outcome. This kind of courage comes from an understanding that life is not about perfection or certainty, but about growth, learning, and the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves. So there is a powerful freedom that comes from choosing courage over comfort. When we embrace courage, we liberate ourselves from the chains of fear and doubt that have held us back for so long. We realize that we are capable of far more than we ever imagined, and that the only limits to our potential are the ones we place on ourselves. Courage is about challenging the status quo and not settling for a life of mediocrity or complacency. It is about choosing to live with intention, purpose, and passion. By stepping outside our comfort zones, we take control of our destinies and begin to create the life we truly desire. When we choose courage, we make space for new opportunities to unfold. The unknown is where creativity thrives, where innovation happens, and where the magic of life exists. Comfort zones may offer stability, but they also limit our capacity for expansion. To reach new heights, to explore new frontiers, we must be willing to let go of the safety of the familiar and embrace the adventure of the unknown. Courage opens doors that would otherwise remain shut, and it leads us to experiences that help us grow, learn, and evolve. In our relationships, too, courage plays a crucial role. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to be honest, and to take risks in love and friendship. It takes courage to speak our truth, to confront difficult issues, and to set healthy boundaries. Without courage, we would remain stuck in toxic relationships, settling for what is familiar but ultimately unfulfilling. Courage empowers us to walk away from situations and people that no longer serve us, and to seek out the relationships that are aligned with our values and our deepest desires. It gives us the strength to open our hearts, to love fully and deeply, and to create connections that nourish and uplift us. The power of courage is transformative. It has the ability to reshape our lives in ways we never thought possible. When we step out of our comfort zones and choose to act with courage, we find that the world responds in kind. Opportunities open up to us, and we begin to attract the right people, the right circumstances, and the right experiences. It is as though the universe aligns itself with our courage and supports us in our efforts to grow and evolve. One of the most important aspects of choosing courage over comfort is the impact it has on our self-esteem and self-worth. When we continuously choose courage, we prove to ourselves that we are capable, resilient, and strong. Each time we push through fear and discomfort, we build our confidence and reinforce our belief in our own abilities. The more we embrace courage, the more we learn to trust ourselves, and the more we recognize that we are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. The choice between courage and comfort is not always easy. It requires us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. It challenges us to step into the unknown and trust that we have what it takes to navigate the challenges ahead. But every time we make the choice to act with courage, we move one step closer to becoming the person we are meant to be. Courage is the key to unlocking our fullest potential and creating a life that is rich with meaning, purpose, and joy. When we choose courage over comfort, we choose a life that is truly worth living.